Welcome to another Grit and Grime basketball podcast. I'm your host, as always, David Sagoe, here with Thomas Arnal.
Hello, it's me.
And Jose Garcia Vidal.
Hello.
Man, what a weekend we've had. And I think we're about to have an awesome week too. Let's take a couple steps back, couple days back, and talk about how we ended up with our Eastern Conference and Western Conference matchups.
Yeah.
Saturday night, we don't have to go into too much detail, but Saturday night, the Warriors finally prevailed over the Memphis Grizzlies. That team just stuck around. Different proposition without Ja Morant, obviously, but the experience of the Warriors shines through, led, of course, by Game 6 Clay. You know he was going to come back, right? You didn't think he was gone, did you? Then we had the Milwaukee Bucks losing their championship to the Boston Celtics. Home court told, and the Bucks just decided they weren't going to guard the three-point line at all. You know, It's not like there's been a revolution of 3 points or anything over the last few years. Hey.
They literally let them shoot every single shot.
Yeah. Why not?
Just take them.
It's a choice. You live and die with it, you know.
And
there you go, Grant Williams. Take them.
Yeah, I mean, he's only a 40% shooter, 41% shooter this season. So, you know, he's basically Jimmy Butler from 3, right? Leave him open.
And they like, the problem is that, so yeah, Boston made 20 plus, and I think Milwaukee made like 3 or 4, and that's it.
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, like the Spurs make 10 a game, you know, like, come on, dude.
And they probably shoot them the least, right?
And the weird thing was seeing Giannis missing layups and stuff like that, like wide open.
Oh, I
that
haven't
was
seen
weird.
That in ages.
Yeah, like he ran out of gas or something.
He only shot 40-something% from the field, so they guarded him really well. But I think that was the biggest surprise, right? They played him tough, but then he did miss a lot of layups throughout the series. The series. And people are like, oh, well, he's definitely the best player in the world now because KD lost in the first round. But I know he got locked up until the last game too. But yeah, Giannis shot very poorly in the series. And he was still mostly taking dunks. It's not like he decided to take a bunch of threes because they were guarding the paint so well. So still question marks. It could still be someone else.
And with that win in Game 7, you could say, I mean, we all did say rest in peace to our brackets, because I think pretty much all of us had the Bucks in the finals.
Yeah,
or the Nets.
Well, actually, I had Philly, but don't ask me about my brackets.
Oh, don't worry, we won't talk about it.
I don't know if you guys have seen. I haven't posted it in the group. I just watched it myself yesterday on YouTube. But you know, RDC World, that comedian on YouTube, who does like the locker room scenes.
Oh yeah.
After certain games, he did a hilarious one of Doc Rivers after the Philly series loss, and then we haven't brought it up yet, but he did an awesome one with Phoenix as well. Where
I've seen the Suns one. Yeah,
he plays Adam Silver. So funny.
Oh, the way he deals with CP3 is just funny as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, go watch that now and come straight back. But yeah, so yeah, it was another, I don't know if it's a personnel issue, right, where Mike Bud didn't have enough players to go small ball and had to keep Lopez out there. But yeah, that strategy was not the one.
They missed Middleton as well a lot. Like he's the number 2 option, and he's sometimes number 1 in crunch time. So it's you can't really easily replace that guy.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened. They just ran out of juice eventually by having to make up 20 something points that you're missing from him, right?
And it's more than that. It's another playmaker, another ball handler. Like after Drew Holiday, Giannis obviously being first, who's the next best player at generating their own shot?
Yeah.
I
Nobody.
got nothing.
Nobody.
Yeah. So that puts obviously a burden on the offense. So they were probably going to. I mean, I picked the Celtics to lose. That was small victory. Celtics to. I said Blues, didn't I? Celtics to win. Once the series got going, but even before the series. But they were. The Bucks are probably always going to lose just because of missing Middleton. But I think the way that they lost, I would sort of lay at Coach Bud's table.
Sure.
Now I've forgotten the phrase completely.
It's on his shoulders.
Doorstep.
At his doorstep. I like that. It was just a weird game. I just like Giannis. He still had like 20 rebounds, 25 points, like ridiculous, 9 assists. But the way he was playing, I think I mentioned this when we were texting when we were watching the game. It's like he was kind of afraid to attack the basket. He was just a bit like, should I go in? Are they gonna call an offensive foul? Like he was just like so passive, so not him.
I think you're right on the offensive fouls. There's one period of time when they were giving everything. Like it was offensive foul
to the Celtics. Towards the end of the third quarter.
It was absolutely crazy. So I think that got into his head too. So again, it was weird. Like you say, he's got 25 and 20, and I was like, he's having a shit game, but still like.
But that's the other thing, right? Like him ascending to best player in the league was based on scoring explosions. We weren't talking about 25 points per game. It was more like in the finals, he averaged 30 plus.
You want a
40-point game and a 50-point game in the closeout game. He didn't have anywhere near that kind of explosion in any of these games, and I think that's the difference.
Absolutely.
That's the difference.
Oh well, it's like I said, rest in peace my bracket, because I had them going to the finals. So,
well, I'm going home. I'm becoming a Celtics fan now, because if you remember, we did an episode at the beginning of the season where we said, "Who's your second team that you'd like to win?" And I picked the Celtics.
I see. So it's your fault.
Did you really? Did you?
I did. I challenged you to go and listen to it again.
Yes. Get those numbers up. Those residuals.
So that I think that should add like 1,000 points to my bracket challenge.
Probably not. You'll still be last. So
maybe give or take 1,000. So the Celtics are looking strong. They are through to face the Heat now. But out west, we had another game 7. Big game, tight game.
It was a practice.
At least when they tipped off, it was like really close, like neck and neck.
For 24 seconds.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't. The Phoenix Suns fall to the Dallas Mavericks. And what a beatdown on your home floor. Favored to win the game, favored to win the series. A lot of people's favorite to win the championship. I picked them before the playoffs.
Same.
Yeah.
And they just completely wet the bed. Completely.
They just didn't show up. What was the word they used now the last couple of days? They were no show. So that's literally what they did. They just went in there like it was either like a preseason game or just a regular season game, and they just got absolutely slapped. And to me, it's funny because it did two things. Like suddenly, people started talking. There was this wave of resentment towards the Sun that came out on social media. It was like everybody, including players, that went, they speak too much, like they talk too much during the game. They got so cocky after last year. And then there's also this anti-CP3 wave that came out. It's just like, whoa. Where's that coming from? It's like all this stuff they got bottled up for the last few years. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I saw a funny tweet that said it's from earlier in the season that Chris Paul was addicted to going to the finals and he just
I saw it.
couldn't get enough of that feeling. And then someone was like, well, congratulations to Chris Paul on getting over his addiction.
Eating his addiction. Like, yes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It was just incredible. I couldn't believe it. The Mavs were up by 50 at one point.
Yeah. I think it was 54.
How
54.
When does that playoff conference semifinals and you're the best team in the league?
Yeah. Best record. At home. In a game 7.
Dominated the entire season. But again, if you look, and it's funny going back to this, like you go back to the stats, and it's something we pointed out last time, is that the big three, Dallas big three, all of them over 20 points again. Like once the three of them, Brunson, Dinwiddie, and Doncic score over 20, it's like it's almost a W for them every time.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, for the Suns, you've got Booker at 10, Chris Paul, Booker 11, Paul 10, and Cam Johnson with 12.
You know
what are you going to do? And then Ayton's got 5, playing 17 minutes.
But plays 17 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do we think of that comment from Coach? I forgot his name now.
Monty Williams.
Coach Williams saying that DeAndre Ayton didn't play because it's an internal thing. Like, what does that mean? Do you not want him to play? Did you not?
No, I think he didn't like his effort out there. I think he thinks that Ayton maybe gave up, and I think he was just like, "Fine, you don't need to be out there anymore." Because it wasn't just the points, was it? Didn't he have something like 4 rebounds as well?
Yeah, ridiculous.
He's got 4 rebounds and 2 assists.
Yeah, 4 rebounds.
Against a small ball Dallas team.
Yeah.
Now, granted, they were making all their shots, so there wasn't many rebounds to grab, but
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I don't think he was happy about that.
If you double that and you bring it to 34 minutes, which is not average, it's a 10.8 rebounds game. It's pretty
horrible. That's a good point. That's a really good point.
That's still not good enough in 35 minutes.
No, it's horrible. It's horrible, but that's a great point. And Tom, you're really good at math. You surprised me.
You're welcome. That was my strong suit.
Well done.
That's cool.
They have a good math program in France then.
Probably I wasn't part of it. But
all right.
And if you look at the stats as well, like 37% for the Suns, 38% field goal percentage for the game, 35 for 3.
And that 38% is because they shot pretty well on the last quarter. They scored like 40 points in the last quarter, right?
Exactly.
Otherwise, it would have been below 30.
Yeah. Probably. They were absolutely in the toilet. I mean, Devin Booker and Chris Paul didn't make their first field goal until deep into the third quarter. Neither of them had a single field goal made in the first half. How does that happen?
That's the thing.
Do you remember candidates?
Do you remember the preview episodes when I talked about the Mavs and I said last year they tried to privilege, like give defense like they got defense as a priority. This year they went, this year it's like, well, okay, they switch a bunch of players around and it's like, well, now they're playing offense basketball. But it felt like they were playing like the Chicago Bulls in the 90s or the Pistons, stopping everything and there's no way for the other team to make a basket. So it was.
The Mavericks defense is really good this year.
Yeah, it is really good. That's
yeah.
But then I woke up next day and it's like, oh, Frankie Smokes destroyed Booker and Chris Paul. Do you see the stats? It's like he was it combined like 3 for 20 or something like that every time he was
guarding them.
Each of them, like
in the series.
In the series, it's like what? Like what happened? But again, can't say what I'm saying about him. It's like
that French schooling again.
Yeah, it's like just get him on defense. Don't make sure he doesn't touch the ball on offense. Just get him like stay back. You know, like we used to play football as kids. Like you just do that. Flying goalkeeper.
You know what? Watching this game, it brought me back bad memories of Argentina playing Slovenia.
When Luka.
Exactly. Luka scoring 30, making everybody else around him score 30, shooting all those long 3-pointers, laughing at every basket, and you're like, dude. So that was one of the conclusions that I got from this game. And the other one is that, so I've been part of this podcast for 2 seasons. And I've been saying for 2 seasons, I don't think Luka is there yet at superstar level. Like, he's there.
Yeah.
He's one of the owners of this league now, that he's becoming the sole face of this league slowly, along with some other dudes. But right now it's like, whoa, to get the recognition that he gets from the sports world, it's just ridiculous.
I think that we witnessing this very playoffs. It's like you've got the change of guards, right? It's like you've got the old, which are not so old, like Harden and Westbrook and like the ones you would see ahead of everyone else in terms of even salary and everything else.
Yeah.
Even KD, you could sort of argue. It's harder to argue for KD than Jeremy, like, because he's not there. But it's like he's on his way, kind of out. He's more nearing the end of his career. But you've got this new wave now. It's it's Giannis's league, it's Jokic's leagues, it's Luka's league, it's Embiid, it's Jason Tatum, Trae Young. It's all the young ones now. They've taken over because all of these guys are now deeper into the playoffs.
Yeah,
it's just refreshing. It's really good. It was just such a display. If you focus on the winning side, and you're like, wow, because obviously the highlight of this match is what happened to the Suns. But if you look at it from the other point of view, you're like, wow, these dudes, they were balling. Yeah.
Dinwiddie killed them in the second quarter. So Luka had already destroyed them in the first. And then he goes to the bench. And Dinwiddie comes in, and I think he has a 20-point quarter.
Yes.
I think he had 20 in the second quarter. Absolutely killing them, hitting every single shot that he shouldn't be taking or making. And that just keeps the avalanche, keeps the onslaught going. And then the other thing is they keep up the defense. And that's been the thing that has plagued the Suns in each of their losses. They get clamped. They've been getting clamped up in these losses, and that Mavericks defense. I don't know what special sauce Jason Kidd stole from Frank Vogel, but he's over there putting on a clinic defensively with Luka out there a lot of the time as well. And it's going to be really interesting how they handle the Warriors going forwards in that matchup, because they have some pieces over there, and they really make you think on defense and really make you move on defense. And it's going to be intriguing to think how he approaches that. But I don't want to get ahead of myself just yet.
You know what we'll see in that game, right? In that Western Conference Finals, we're going to see 2 teams with nobody in the paint. It's going to be 5 out against 5 out. There's going to be nobody in the paint. It's going to be everyone behind the 3-point arcs, and that's it. It's like,
at least to start with. But watch the backdoor cuts.
It's going to be some
crazy. No one's getting past that 3-point line. There's not going to be any cuts.
Wiggins alley-oop. Wait for it. It's going to be an important one, an important alley-oop.
Nah, Frankie Smoke's going to block that as soon as the pass comes. It's going to bang. Not getting in the paint.
Gang. But yeah, still staying on this. The Phoenix Suns had 27 points at halftime.
Yeah.
Luka had 27 points at halftime, right?
Luka had 27 points at halftime.
You should have done like at school. Just go like, Luka, switch sides, just so we can explain this.
Balance it out.
Switch kits. Yeah. it's awesome.
Oh man. And then he hits a 3 in the second half and goes ahead of the Suns. So I feel like I've never seen anything like this. Like, there's been upsets, if we're going back, the Nuggets beating the first seed. Who was that actually that lost that? Why can't I remember who that was? Was that 1995? I think it was when Mutombo's Nuggets won as an 8th seed. We had the Dallas Mavericks best record in the league, losing to the Golden State Warriors, the We Believe Warriors. But it wasn't like this. They lost in, granted, they lost in 6, but
they were very close games. Like it was hard fought. Yeah,
this was an absolute drubbing. Just and to a team that can defend and attack, right? They're top 5 offense and defense, aren't they?
Finalists.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. It's as if something must have happened for them to come out this flat.
Every single team goes like they all have one game that is unexplainable. That is just like nothing goes in, nothing just works. Like you might have had the best game of your life a week before, and then suddenly the week after, you just like can't make a basket. You can't make like even a single pass feels like a burden. It happens a lot, but usually it happens in the regular season. Like you have a long road trip or whatever, and then suddenly like the last game you're like, but you understand by 30.
You understand that, and the stakes are much lower, right? Like it seemed like they had no spirit.
No, I agree. It's a mental thing. It's like what happened? Where are these guys? Like where are they? They just didn't show up, or they showed up and just went completely flat. Like what's happening?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe Chris Paul and Booker received an invite to go to Cancun from LeBron and just went.
And Patrick Beverly.
And Pat Beverly just went. I think you can try and explain it, but there's no rational explanation for a massive blowout like this. There's just none. You can look at it
when it's that big.
Stats. When it's that big, when you can look at it, like let's say there's a game 8 after this, it might go the other way. Like it's just, I think it was a mental preparation that wasn't there. Maybe to some level, it kinds of go back to what people are saying now, which is that team is just got too cocky, and they just maybe thought, now game 7 at home, it's Dallas. We just need to be careful with Luka and whatever, and we'll just go through. But it could well be this what happened, maybe not as a as a decision, but as a game plan. There's something that on a deeper level they just go like, we just walk all over them, get to the finals, the Western Conference final, and that's it. The Warriors is probably it'll be harder against them, so that you always start projecting yourself into the next round, and then bang. You forgot that you have one more game. It's one possibility, there's something that maybe in 2 or 3 months' time there'll be something that comes out. Then maybe we'll see that maybe they were not also fond of each other. Sometimes that happens. It just imploded at the wrong time. That could also happen. Something happened in the locker room that we don't know about.
Yeah.
Maybe they just wanted to send Chris Paul on an early retirement.
Well, on that topic, I pulled up the stats. Chris Paul turned 37 during this series. I'm not there yet, but Chris Paul in the playoffs before turning 37, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 10 assists on 14.9 field goal attempts. That is very important. 1.6 steals and 1.6 turnovers. That is an insane assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah.
CP3 after turning 37, 9 points. 3 rebounds, 6 assists on 7.2 field goal attempts.
So he's shooting half of his shots.
1.2 steals, and 3.6 turnovers.
Wow. It's almost as if he hit a wall. Like it just like literally hit the wall. Like he turned 37 and his body just went, I'm not doing this anymore. It's over. So, but didn't he just do like shots 14 for 14 or something like literally last week? Wasn't that
he
a
was
game
36 then. Totally different guy.
Yeah, he was still 36.
Totally different.
He was a young lad.
Relax.
Sorry,
Tom.
there's a
snake coming through the
What?
ceiling.
There's a bat. There's a
I'm
bat
out.
in his first arena. A bat in the AT&T Center.
Oh, this shit's gonna fuck up. I don't know what that is, but it's gonna fuck up.
Let me just
What
see
is
it.
We need to leave this.
Oh, of
video,
course.
Okay.
No.
Tom's currently being attacked by a giant anaconda.
We can't see it, so it looks like
it's a big furry.
It's like the first scene of Doctor Strange.
Yeah, kind of like yeah. I can't do the thing. Let's see I think it's gone, but I'm just gonna leave the door open. Anyway,
What is it?
I have no idea. Some big ass insect that looks like a very hairy mosquito or something. Ugh.
Hairy mosquito.
Okay, let's go. Sorry.
The wildlife we get in South London, eh?
Balham, yeah. Ooh.
So yeah, so turning 37. What's that like, Tom?
I wouldn't know. I'm a young 36-year-old man. I don't know. Everything hurts. I mean, ask Jose. He just said he woke up and his body hurt. So
I'm 33, man. I'm a different species. So South American, we age faster.
Probably. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, I can feel his pain. I mean, I know that life definitely took a wrong turn when I hit 40, but he's still got 3 years, so he's lying.
Mental thing, man. Mental
I
thing.
don't know. Ah.
But for me, it's definitely the fact that look, it's back. We need to name this in a sec. For me, it's the fact that he started taking half the shots. Obviously, there was one game he was in foul trouble, but outside of that, what reason would you have for not taking shots?
Absolutely no reason.
Yeah, especially considering they lost the last 2 games. Like, you're losing, you need to step up and hit some.
Ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
All right. We'll stop belaboring the point. We'll hopefully move on to our previews. Let me check the schedule.
Tonight is Miami-Boston.
Tonight we have Miami-Boston, recording this on Tuesday evening. This is going to be such a brick fight. I can see it already. These two teams are so good on defense that we're going to see a lot of poor shots.
Finally, some defense basketball. Finally.
That's some bull. The Bucks were playing defense. That series was very defensive as well. Philly, Miami was also very defensive. How do we see this one going? I think before the playoffs, I massively underrated the Heat. And yeah. And I think there's very much a reason why they ended up with the first seed, given all the injuries. Like, we talked about it. That's the funny thing. We talked about how many injuries they had.
I see what's happening. We were talking about it. I remember.
Yeah, and how they were still able to have the number 1 seed in the East, where there are good teams.
Yeah. Arguably the strongest conference this year.
Arguably.
Of course.
I think so. I think the Heat has an advantage here when it comes to playing at home. So they have the best record in the East at home,
right?
And they're 6-0 at home in the playoffs.
Right.
So they obviously have an advantage right there, right? They have home court advantage. But both teams are fired up, man. It's gonna be really close. I found it really, really hard to, even though I picked the Bucks to win and they didn't, but I found it really hard to predict who will win that series. I think that's going to be the case with this one. It's just like game by game basis. You can't predict it. Anything could happen. What I do know is that Jimmy Butler must be a bit tired and he needs some more help when it comes to scoring. So he had to show up a lot on the last series. And as I have said, and I'm still convinced of this. If Jimmy Butler is scoring and carrying the team, that's not such good news for the Heat. The Heat they need to use their depth and their players, their role players to score. So if those other players show up and they score big, and Jimmy doesn't have to score unless he has to, like in one game maybe, the Heat should win. Otherwise, Boston has such depth as well. Like we saw the last game, like players scoring like 3-pointers everywhere they wanted to. So it's gonna be really, really interesting. I can't wait. I think I'm almost. I can't say I'm looking forward to this one more than the other one, but it's like wow, it's gonna be fun.
It's going to be a very different style of basketball. Like as we've said, it's going to be a very defensive series, but it is going to be interesting just because of how close it is, how smart both coaches are. Some of the stuff that Ime Udoka was doing in the last series, especially in Game 7, was really, really interesting. They were talking about, what podcast was it? I think it was the Basketball Buds on the Athletic NBA podcast, where they was Dave Dufour was talking about how Ime Udoka used 2 or 3 plays in Game 7 that they hadn't used all year, and that just doesn't happen, right? You don't try new things in Game 7. By Game 7, both teams know each other's plays like verbatim, and you've already drilled your team throughout the season to do this, do that, and you know exactly what you want from them and what you expect them to do out of those motions and things like that. So to bring out something you haven't done and for it to go perfectly well, just kind of shows the maturity of the players, right? Their intelligence as well, but shows that he's a risk taker and he has a lot in his locker. So he's then obviously going up against Spoelstra, who's arguably the best coach in the league, and his resume speaks for itself. So it's going to be really, really freaking interesting. It will be interesting to see what happens with the Celtics trying to exploit Hero on defense. I know Duncan Robinson isn't fully healthy, but when he comes back, whether he gets minutes and how they try and hide him on defense. The Celtics don't really have anyone to hide on defense. That could be the difference, but as we've said, the Heat have home court advantage, and I just bet on the Celtics, didn't I? I'm not picking the Celtics. Fuck Boston.
Are you? Who are you picking? You're picking.
I'm picking the Heat. I'm picking the Heat.
In how many games?
7.
It's gotta be 7. Whoever you pick.
7.
Yeah, I'm actually picking the Celtics. I'm gonna go for the Celtics in 7.
I'm going Celtics in 6.
In 6.
Well, it's just because. It's just because they are pretty level in terms of defense.
Yeah.
And I think I would argue that even the Celtics defense has been a bit more impressive, and especially with who they had to deal with from the start of the playoffs.
Yeah.
And how effective they've been with dealing with those players.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking maybe the Heat's got less offensive firepower, and that they will need to be a lot more creative to, like you say, get somebody else than Butler to score, to be the highest scorer on every game. I mean, Bam can score, but like apart from that, I think the Celtics is he can score 20. It's 5 sometimes, but you'll need more than that. Whereas the Celtics is deeper, and the danger can come from anywhere. Like we had a high scoring game from what's his face from Horford.
Horford.
The Horford machine. We had one scoring game from Grant Williams, who had. Do you know how many you're gonna get from Jason Tatum, and you know how you're gonna get all the buckets from what's his face? What can I see the players?
Jaylen Brown.
You got Jaylen Brown, you got Marcus Smart. They can all score. Derek White, hey, he could even get you.
Yeah, he can get hot. He's not as consistent, I think, but he can have good shooting games. I mean, but Pritchard was scoring 3-pointers, like
Pritchard, yeah. So you see, I feel they have more diversity in how on where the points can come from. Whereas the Heat, it feels like it's more down to their 2 biggest names to do everything on offense, or to
I wouldn't say that, just because I think they actually rely a lot on Heroes scoring to get through, and then I think they have the highest 3-point shooting percentage on the regular season.
I mean, they had a couple games where they had to rely on Oladipo to score,
But they have shooters. I think you may not see them as scorers, but they definitely have shooters in obviously Hero, Strus, Lowry, if he's healthy to go in this series. They bought him some time at least. Gabe Vincent. They have shooters. They have shooters, and I think that supplements Jimmy Butler's playmaking, Kyle Lowry's floor generalship, and Bam's a good playmaker as well.
Do you think they're going to play Duncan Robinson? Is he going to?
I think he'll come off the bench, but if he's healthy, I think he'll get some time, but it will depend on how he does on defense.
Sure.
I think Spoelstra will have him on a very short leash. But if he's making his shots, he'll definitely get time and not getting exploited too much on defense. Maybe against mostly bench units. But then how many of those are we going to see with a short rotation by the Celtics? So yeah, we'll see. We will see. Let's head out west. Mavericks versus the Warriors. Could be a changing of the guard. Could be a changing of the guard. Or it might not be. Could be a full storm. Full storm. We've spoke about Luka's Mavs already. The Golden State Warriors. They've got that three-headed beast over there in the Splash Pool brothers. And then obviously Draymond anchoring that. They are probably going to put Wiggins on Luka to start, but who cares, because he's going to get run off 100 screens to get him off there. Do the Warriors have enough defensive versatility to slow down Luka and the Mavs?
It got to a point where I'm now seeing Luka Doncic Eurobasket versions, which is it doesn't matter who you put on him. He can put Godzilla, doesn't matter. He'll score 30. Hey, he could play basketball. He's got big feet.
Yeah. Small hands though.
Small hands though. Be like the Shaq. No, who was that? There was a player. He can't follow through. But no, do you know what I mean? Like at some stage, it almost doesn't matter who you're thinking of putting. Like some people are saying Klay Thompson can go on him, but which I could see actually being a pain in the butt for Luka. But he's got to that stage now where he gained a lot of confidence and he's like, cracked it. So bring whoever, it'll be okay. I'll be Steve Kerr. I'll concentrate on the rest of the team, like trying to bring down the productions from Dinwiddie and what's his face, Brunson. Like, right. You know, so we're discussing last time is like, do you shut out the rest of the team and let Luka does whatever he does? Because it's always the debate when you have somebody who's just too much to handle on offense. It's like, do you just let them go for 50 and then the rest, as long as they don't score more than 30 as a group?
And I think that's the key. I think the key to this, to the Dallas Mavericks being able to fight this series and to potentially win it, is not Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is going to score 30 per game. But I was just looking at stats from like the last 3-4 games between the Mavs and the Suns, and sometimes it's Dinwiddie with 10, sometimes it has 30, and it's Finney Smith scoring more, Brunson scoring more than nothing. So it's very irregular. So against a team like the Warriors, that can hurt. We said the same thing about Phoenix, right? Yeah. We said if you're regular against Phoenix, you're doomed, and look at what happened. So I think the key is how is Kerr going to approach the defense? Is he going to go for let's stop everybody else or let's stop Luka? And are these guys, if you let them shoot, are they going to score? You know, your role players, are they going to have good percentages?
Yeah. I think it does come down to that approach. I'm just interested to see what the scheme is. During the regular season, obviously it's just the regular season, the Mavericks trapped Curry a lot, which again is, I know, something that Kid got from his time at the Lakers. That's how the Lakers came through Dame Lillard, James Harden, Jamal Murray on their way to the finals in the bubble. And it worked, right? They trapped Steph, and none of the rest were able to do enough playmaking to keep scoring. And Steph sort of hinted afterwards that maybe it would be a smart idea for them to do that to Luka, because they weren't. They were giving him single coverage, and he was just getting mismatches and burning them. So I wonder if they purposely didn't do that during the regular season, so that when it comes to playoff time, they could look at sort of trapping schemes. But those aren't easy to do. You then have to have really good rotations after that. And we know the Warriors can rotate, but this is a Warrior team that doesn't have quite as much defensive personnel as they used to. They're still a very good defensive team, especially with Draymond fit and healthy. But with Poole in the starting lineup, potentially, that is somewhere that the Mavs can exploit. Curry is not standing in front of Luka, and probably isn't standing in front of Brunson either. It'll just be interesting to see how it plans out. Like,
and especially they've lost Gary Payton.
Injured. Was it fractured elbow?
Fractured elbow. So that could have been helpful on like as a rotation on Luka. That could have been another extra body you put on.
Absolutely. There, so. And Iguodala. I know he's old, but he could have still given you some minutes with his strength.
5-10 minutes. Yeah.
And his hands. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The thing is, again, like the other side, like on the Eastern Conference, it's very hard for me to predict that one, because we cannot count it. I mean, we always favored the other team over the Mavs, right? And so now they've done it twice, when you're thinking, okay, maybe it's not just luck.
Man, you got your cowboy hat on, man. Come on.
I had Mavs over Jazz.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Over Jazz, yeah. I think I had the Jazz, yeah. But still, though, like the majority of fans, if you ask them who you're picking, they always pick the other team, because they look at the Mavs and say, well, they've got Luka and then nothing much else around it, which is not really true. Like I said, if all you need is Brunson and Dinwiddie to play well, then
that's how Luka likes to play anyway. He needs that style of play. He needs a Slovenian team, basically.
Heliocentric offense.
That's it.
One main star and everyone else role players.
That's it.
Like, he will find you. All you need is 2 good hands and being able to put a ball in the basket, and then you'll be good.
Yeah,
you'll be fine.
That's how Bertans is getting playoff minutes, right?
Yeah.
He's just catching it and shooting it over chairs.
That's what
again, on the Slovenian team, he's playing with what's the big guy on the Slovenian team? It's like a Canadian.
I know who
Toby something, Mike Toby, I think.
Yeah.
Like very limited, like technically limited guy. He'll grab the ball and just put it in the basket, and he'll set some screens. But that's all he did. Like, he does those 2 things well, but the rest is not. Like, he's nowhere near being a great basketball player. Like, I've seen him in the Spanish league. I think he was in the Canary Islands or something, whatever, on the Spanish league. But like, with Luka, he looked like an all-star. It's like the guy was finding him every time he was double teaming. He's like, there you go.
Yeah.
And then he was just pretty, like, not even dunking. It was just a little light touch in the basket. But yeah, so that's where, like, it's literally the Mavs is. We should rename them like the Dallas Slovenia or something. The Slovenian Mavericks. I don't know.
Slovenian Mavericks.
Slovenian Mavericks.
Got to. So
who you got?
Prediction time.
I don't know.
Why do I feel so? This is the only pick where I've actually felt pressure. I want to be right about this so bad. So badly. I'm gonna go reluctantly. I'm gonna go Warriors in 7.
Yeah. I'm gonna flip the coin and say Mavs in 7, just because I want to say the opposite.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, I have to believe that the change of guard is not this year just yet. So yeah, I think it's just Warriors in 7.
All right.
What's he doing? Yes, he won.
Dead.
Tom in 7.
Tom in 1.
No, that was definitely a 7-game series.
And now you need to sweep it. So
yeah, that's the thing. I just realized my mistake.
or Hoover it.
It's the very moment I realized I fucked up. I don't know what this is, but it doesn't look good. Anyway, back to basketball.
Give it the mop. So I guess that's it. Our predictions are in. No takesies, backsies. We're locked in. Let me just, because we've got a couple of minutes, I'm just going to run through the current state of the G&G Challenge. We have Toma Doncic on top with 3,000 points.
I think I'm done. I don't know if I can get any more points. Now I've got the Heat. I don't know. I don't think I can get any more points now. But...
And then tied for second place, it's yours truly, G&G Dave, and Jason DK. Then next up, fourth place with 2,200 points, we have the Northern Nerd, Mike Downey. Fifth, we have Rich Barrett. Shouts to Rich.
Couldn't I be fifth? I could be fifth.
You're not. Sorry.
We have the same amount of points, man.
No.
What?
Not even alphabetical order. Sorry.
I could. Yeah.
No.
I'm NBA fan.
No. Is there another one, Tom, or is it coming back to life? No, it's Rich. Sorry. He has a 1 in his name, so he has to be before you.
I also have a 1. 451-830.
No, if it was your real name, then you'd be fifth, but you're not. So we have Rich Barrett and Clutch AB, and then finally in last place, also with 2,000 points.
This happened last year.
We have Jose Garcia, also known as NBA Fan 400. I got it wrong. 451,830. Those are your lottery numbers this weekend.
No, what you should do? You should go to the NBA store on Covent Garden and get yourself a Spurs jersey and just put like NBA Fan and that number below it.
4513.
It'll be a one-off,
baby.
Not on the NBA UK store because they don't have anything from the Spurs.
So. Oh no, not that. Just go to the store and
shout out to the NBA store in Carnaby Street.
Restock.
We're gonna restock when we get 8th next year. You'll see. We're gonna sign him on free agency. He's the new David Robinson.
Wow, maybe he is. But him and Thingy would be a good combination, actually. DJ.
Yeah.
So that does it for another pod. I don't know if this chapter's over. Tom looks scared. He looks like there's still
alive
left. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You see him wrestling when they put them in the sleeper hold, and then their arms about to drop for the 3rd time, and they get the power back.
Yeah, well, it's got resurrected on that one because I don't know.
You're like Peter Griffin and the chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
Roadhouse.
Oh man.
Well, you know what I'd be doing.
let's wrap. So get us on social media, Grit and Grime Pod, at Grit and Grime Pod on social media. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell on YouTube. Thank you for watching. And if you're listening on a podcast platform, please leave a review. You don't have to use a lot of words, but the rating has to be what? Yeah. Has to be 5 stars.
5 stars.
Otherwise, just keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
I've been David Sagoe. He's been Thomas Arnal.
I'm scared.
And he's been Jose Garcia Vidal.
Ciao, ciao.
Goodbye.
We're out. 1,